slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Hey team, I get asked this a lot through comments and people that email me, and they're saying that, you know, they've used low heart rate training and low heart rate training is not working for them. Okay, and my question is always, you know, what are you aiming for? Okay, if you're trying to race and you're trying to sustain race pace for a longer period of time and you're running too much of your mileage too aerobically at a low heart rate, but for too often, yes, you're definitely going to build an incredible amount of endurance. You're going to be in great shape, but there's a difference between being in legitimate aerobic shape and legitimate anaerobic shape, where you can race, where you can sustain goal race pace from start to finish. And the only method to do that is you have to recruit more fast twitch muscle fibers. You have to run at faster paces, because you're simply not going to improve your racing capability, your ability to handle high amounts of lactic acid and to be able to clear that lactic acid faster than it's building up, if you're not running a higher percentage of your weekly volume at or below anaerobic threshold effort. You know, anaerobic threshold is the point where we start to build up lactic acid and it starts to accumulate. Okay, and as we run faster, the more oxygen that's required, the more stress that's placed on the body. Because again, the less oxygen we have, the higher amounts of lactic acid buildup that's built, and that stops temporarily muscle functioning. You know, there's that ability that runners have to make running and racing look so easy. You know, you see it with the top Europeans, the top Americans, the top Kenyans, other athletes around the world that make racing look so easy. They make it look easy because, again, they're spending a higher percentage of their weekly volume running at a higher heart rate and for longer durations. So if low heart rate training is not working for you, I think it's time to start changing up your tactics. And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean your best running isn't ahead of you. It doesn't mean you know, in a lot of cases, it's just a matter of looking at your strategy. How have you been setting up your training in the past? Okay. I do believe if you're trying to run these longer races at faster paces, you have to start speeding up portions of your long run. Okay. You can't just run long, slow, and easy every single weekend and run a stellar half marathon, 10-miler marathon. Okay. I think, again, if throughout the week you're doing the proper amount of like tempo runs, you're doing hill training, you're doing your speed sessions, and you are training at paces that are far below your goal race pace. If you're doing that properly and you're running every one of your long runs slow, I still think that you can still set a massive new personal best, because again, you're training at your VO2 max, you're training at your anaerobic threshold, you're stressing the energy systems of the body thoroughly throughout the week, coupled with sprinkling in jogging and recovering from your workouts, and then you're running for long periods of time during your long runs. You're just running aerobically. I do think there is something to be said there. I think that you're still going to be very, very strong. You're still going to be very well prepared. But the faster you're trying to run in these longer races, even if you're trying to run like a 1500 or a 5000 faster, sprinkling in some miles or some kilometers during your long runs at goal race pace, and even like 10 to 20 seconds faster than goal race pace, will definitely help you to run at faster paces throughout the week. And those athletes out there that are saying that low heart rate training isn't working, again, I always ask, you know, what is the purpose of your training? What are you aiming for? Are you trying to run a Boston Marathon qualifier? Are you trying to qualify for the Olympic trials in a track and field event or in the marathon? If that's the case, low heart rate training, if you're doing too much low heart rate training, you know, if you're utilizing like the Maffetone running method that I talked about on Monday's video, again, for me, like, at 47, you subtract your age from 180 based on Dr. Maffetone's method. That would be me running at 133 beats per minute for all of my aerobic runs. And definitely I'm running around there in the 130s on my easy recovery days. Okay, so, but I think if I was running 7 days a week and all I was doing was running at 133 beats per minute for every single day of the week, and I'm trying to run, say, like a 240 marathon, I'm not going to run a 240 marathon by running 7 days a week at 133 beats per minute. It's just not going to happen. So those runners out there that are saying that low heart rate training isn't working for them, that there's a reason. Okay, it's, again, if your purpose isn't just to build fitness, build your endurance, get to a point where you can run longer periods of time. If you're having a hard time now running like 4 miles or 5 miles or 8 kilometers, running easy, you're having a really difficult time with that, and a few months down the line, 5 miles, you're running 5 miles or 8 kilometers at an easy aerobic low heart rate, and it's not hard anymore, then it is working. But if you're not really seeing major results, it could be other reasons. It could be something like you need to take some time away from the sport, recharge. You could be running low on ferritin, as I talk about in other videos. So many runners sweat so much, and we lose so much iron through sweat. We lose it through foot strike hemolysis. Every time your foot strikes the ground, you're underneath your foot, red blood cells burst, and that's foot strike hemolysis. Women lose iron through menstruation. So there's a lot of times runners are not paying attention to their ferritin levels. And I don't care how motivated you are, how perfect your training goes throughout the week. Even if you're doing higher heart rate training and you're doing low heart rate training to make sure you're recovering well, if you're training in these humid, hot conditions that we're dealing with right now in the summers, you're sweating so much. Like I personally do, I sweat a lot. Every single day, just about every single day on these runs, I'm just soaked when I come back. And again, that's why I focus so much on maintaining optimal ferritin levels and B12 levels. If you're running, B12 is also very, very important for cellular oxygen carrying capacity. Okay, if your cells don't have the ability to carry oxygen throughout your body optimally, I don't care how much motivation you have, you're not going to run very well. But if low heart rate training isn't working for you, again, look back at your training and see how much of my mileage throughout the week am I really running at goal race pace? Am I really, if I'm training for a marathon and my longest long run is like 11 to 12 miles, that's one reason of many that you may not be running the marathon time you're aiming for, because again, your long run isn't very far and you're running too much of your mileage too aerobically. Okay, you have to run aerobically. Don't get me wrong, you still have to run easy. Okay, I definitely think there's something to be said about the Maffetone running method. Running at 100, your age minus 180. And then that being your beats per minute for the heart rate. But sometimes we have to get away from the heart rate training altogether and just focus on focus on how we're feeling in training. If you still feel like you're running if you feel like you're redlining and you're starting to run too faster in your long runs, jog. Okay, it's supposed to be easy for a reason. That way you can continue to really push the body hard over a 4-month block, 5-month, 6-month block of training. Okay, but again, if you're trying to run faster and low heart rate training is not working for you, then you have to start changing up your tactics, okay? There are plenty of resources below these videos as well as on RunDreamAchieve.com that are going to definitely help you get to the next level, help you change up your tactics, help you to start training at faster paces, to really get outside of your comfort zone, because that's the only way we're going to get better as middle to long distance runners. This is not a sport where if you're trying to race a specific time, it's going to just be handed to you. You have to change up how you're doing things if it's not working for you. So I hope this video on if you're asking the question of low heart rate training isn't working for you, or if you're having issues with this, hopefully this video points you into some different directions. Like I mentioned, B12 and monitoring your ferritin levels, changing up, running more of your mileage at a faster pace, at a higher heart rate, so that again you can start teaching the body to clear lactic acid more effectively and to improve your body's lactate tolerance. So thank you so much for your support of this channel. Please like and share these videos. I really appreciate it. And if something's on your mind, if you want to leave a comment, I really appreciate that. I'll definitely reach back out to you and respond. I do aim to respond to every single email and comment that I get. I get a lot of them, and I definitely aim to always answer. So thank you so much for your support, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.